Us criticizing a grieving widow who can't keep her story straight about anything? No, that shouldn't even hit your radar. So please do not lecture us, JD. Do not. Okay. The lecture that is coming from you is exactly why we don't like Erica, because we see it for exactly what it is. It's elite.
That even makes sense to you? Does that sound like somebody who's rational? That they had Tyler Robinson lookalikes on campus that day. Now, mind you, in times past, she said Tyler Robinson was never at UVU at all. But now all of a sudden, not only was he there, they had lookalikes there as body doubles there. Grace and peace, everybody. We are back. You saw the thumbnail. You saw the title. You know what we're going to be talking about. I really do believe, I don't think it's a lap too far to say that Candace Owens has been given over to a reprobate mind. Like her mind doesn't operate correctly. It's been given over to the full-blown, unadulterated viciousness and vileness of her sinful nature. I'm going to play 2 videos to make my case. So let's real quick check out this young lady real quick. Let's go.
Candace Owens not good at poker. She's showing her hand. Take a look, then I'll respond.
Us criticizing a grieving widow who can't keep her story straight about anything? No, that shouldn't even hit your radar. So please do not lecture us, JD. Do not. Okay. The lecture that is coming from you is exactly why we don't like Erica, because we see it for exactly what it is. It's elite. She has money and connections. She can call Vice President J.D. Vance. She can get the Secretary Scott Bessent to issue a letter on demand, demanding you stop looking into their finances. She can get Trump to say how much Charlie loved her in his Easter speech. It's the balcony approach that makes us sick. We feel it. You guys looking down in the crowd like we're animals.
Candace Owens is led by an evil spirit, a seducing spirit. This hatred that she has for Erica Kirk has completely consumed her. This is not about finding justice for Charlie Kirk. This is about destroying Erica Kirk because she wants to be Erica Kirk. She's jealous of her. It's sick and it's demonic. And notice how she keeps using the pronouns we and us. Mm-hmm. Why do you think she's doing that? Because she's performing psychological warfare on the minions that tune in to the next episode. So she uses pronouns such as we and us. That's why we don't like Erica. That's why they look down upon us. Making everyone that watch her believe that somehow Erica Kirk is their enemy too. Erica Kirk not even bothered by her. She's going about her business. She's on that wall building, and Candace Owens can't stand it. She's throwing all her fiery darts. She's doing everything she can to bring Erica down, but it's not working. It's not working. I'm not saying God told me Candace is reprobate, but all the signs are there. If she not reprobate, I pray she repent, because this spirit ain't playing. When I was thinking on Candace Owens and the direction that she is going, there was an image that popped in my head from the game show The Price is Right, and I'm about to show it to you right now.
21, 22, 23, 24, 25.
The Bible says, not me, there is a way that seems right unto man, but at the end of it, it leads to destruction. This spirit is destroying her. It's consuming her. And the people that are tuning in, listening, and commenting in the comment section, they're feeding this demon. If you don't see the dangers of all this, I feel sorry for you. You're not discerning. A true believer in Christ should not be supporting this lady. A true believer should be praying that she repent before she get to the edge of that cliff. God bless.
25.
Wow. Shout out for sure. Now, let me give you an example of a pure, there's many examples, but this one right here was really interesting to me because she literally makes up a story that makes no sense at all, just out of whole cloth. And, in times past, she's, said, I have no verification of this. It's just a theory. Like, she's saying it. Just listen to the tone that she says. Let's go.
Getting the sense that they had multiple Tyler Robinson lookalikes that day. That's why the footage is grainy. And it's just impossible that all this footage is going to be grainy. Okay. I think there were multiple Tyler Robinson lookalikes, and they were wearing maroon shirts and wearing hats and wearing what they were supposed to wear. And they're never going to show us a clear picture of Tyler Robinson because it's very easy to find a Tyler Robinson lookalike and to blur it. That is my conspiracy theory.
Does that even make sense to you? Does that sound like somebody who's rational? That they had Tyler Robinson lookalikes on campus that day. Now, mind you, she in times past, she said Tyler Robinson was never at UVU at all. But now all of a sudden, not only was he there, they had lookalikes there as body doubles there. Does that make sense? Does that sound like somebody who's dealing with their right emotions and their mental state is in the right place? Or does that sound like somebody like, hold on, like imagine if your ideological enemy said that. Would you think that that person was playing with a full deck? Or let me answer this question. If your friend was saying that, would you look at him or her and say, friend, you might need to go get some help? Let me know what you think down in the comments below. I really want to hear what your thoughts are about this. Do you agree with me that that Candace has been given over to a reprobate mind? I agree with him. Do you agree that she has her thinking is now broken, and now she's just going to further and further, and as that example was from The Price is Right, she's off the cliff? Or do you think that there's something else going on? Let me know what you think. I really want to hear about it. Comment down below. I'm looking forward to hearing what you're saying. So until then, everybody, grace and peace. All right, everybody. Grace and peace, everybody. Thank God it is Monday. You saw the thumbnail. You saw the title. It's the Monday morning meeting. Let's get at it. I wanted to start today with that video because for two reasons. One, y'all have been watching that video, and I want to say thank you so much. That video has done very well on my channel. Very encouraging to end the month of April. But also the content creator, I didn't know her name. And there were a couple of comments in the comments asking who she was and such like that. And I didn't know who she was. It was actually sent to me, so I didn't have the actual link. Needless to say, I did a little bit of digging this morning and found her. And if you look down in the description of this video, I wanted to make sure that I started with that video so that it would encourage you. If you were looking for that young lady who rebuked Candace Owens, her link is down, her TikTok link is down in the description of this video. And if the moderators want to drop it in the chat, that would be super helpful as well. So I just want to make sure I started off on the right foot and made sure I gave y'all what you all were asking for, which is who is this young lady? And I didn't know her initially, but we made that problem. We fixed that problem. So shout out to y'all. Thank you to everybody who's already jumped into the best live chat on the internet. Drop your like number in there. Let us know who you are, what you're about, and all that kind of good jazz. Thank you so much. Okay, let's just tell the truth, y'all. This weekend was crazy. This weekend was insane. There was just so much going on. And not only on the news, you know, your boy was doing prom duty. I had prom duty this weekend, taking my baby to her various and sundry prom events. And no, we did not have a Bugatti, and we did not rent an airplane. We did not do any of those things. We had a very simple prom, but I was chauffeuring nonetheless. It was pretty wild, though. So to answer your question, I was not dialed in on Saturday with all the ins and outs of what was going on as relates to the White House Correspondents' Dinner. And so what I want to do is I do want to address it. And I found a gentleman who was actually there at the White House Correspondents' Dinner during the time. He gave a pretty nice breakdown of what happened. I know you all have seen it. You all have heard tons of different things about it, but I thought this gentleman doing an interview, he's a journalist, of course, and he was talking about it. Oh, he was there. And I thought it would be good to kind of start with that. So I'm going to bring this in. We're going to be looking at live news now. And this gentleman did an interview yesterday about the White House Correspondents' Dinner event. And I'm trying to make sure I use proper words because I don't want YouTube. And I know people are going to be like, well, so-and-so did that. Please understand, YouTube is, they show partiality, okay? So I don't want to get tricked and say something that they might not like me saying, and they have a problem with my video, even though they didn't have a problem with the 75 other videos that said the same words. So please understand, it's not because I'm trying to be like coy or having flashbacks of being a second grade teacher. The reason I don't say certain words is because YouTube is just be YouTubing. And it'll be just my luck because I've had videos on my side. You don't see them. I've had videos on my side that get taken down because I said a word. And I'm like, somebody else just said it. It doesn't even matter. So anyway, that's why, just letting you know, heads up. Okay. Oh, shut up. There we go. If you don't mind, I've heard that security wasn't as robust as you would think it should be. I don't know if I heard people, that's another reason why. Like on Saturday, I was hearing things like, there was no Secret Service there was at all. There was no security checks at all. The person that did the event was deleted, all this kind of stuff like that. And then the next day you wake up, you hear totally different stories. And so people were reporting, this happened on Saturday. Lo and behold, on Sunday, when more information and facts come out, it's a totally different story. So I'm worried about that. All right, let's go. Yeah, we're gonna see that part. We see it. I'm just trying to figure out how is he still breathing? That's what I didn't understand. Like, how's he still breathing? Okay, but let's pull this in. Let's go. Shout out to the best live chat on the internet. I just want to give a quick little summary of it and give my little 2 cents. That's all. Let's go. Green hearts in the chat when you can hear.
Welcome back in here to Live Now from Fox. I am Andy Mack. We're continuing to learn more information about the attack on the president and the administration at the White House Correspondent Association dinner last night at the Washington Hilton. We do know that the suspect, Cole Allen, a 31-year-old California man accused of trying to breach a security checkpoint at the dinner while armed with multiple weapons. A live picture less than 24 hours after everything went down. This outside of the Washington Hilton right now. Let's continue on, though, here on Live Now from Fox, because some vantage points, reporters in the room witnessing it from different vantage points, including Gavin Quinton saying this is an image unconfirmed, what I believe to be the shooter at this dinner. Multiple shots were fired at the White House Correspondents' Dinner with the President Trump in attendance. He heard 5 to 6 shots ring out shortly before observing a body surrounded by dozens of Secret Service agents. According to multiple on-scene witnesses, unknown man dashed through the dining area, was met with gunfire. Of course, that individual still alive, the Secret Service wounded, but doing all right. Let's be joined right now by the man that had that video, LA Times, Gavin Quinton. Gavin, thank you so much for joining us here on Live Now from Fox. And of course, information was very fluid, very dynamic at that moment. What was your viewpoint? What was your perspective last night?
Yeah, I think whereas most people were set up in the dining room, I was one of the rare reporters that had decided to get up and go up to that terrace. So maybe 10 to 15 people. One interesting point is that Wolf Blitzer, who had one of the more interesting perspectives, had passed me on my way into the restroom just before we heard those shots get fired.
And just from your perspective, what made you leave the room? Just a different vantage point, stretch your legs, you had to the restroom. What made you go out of the ballroom in the first place?
Yeah, great question. So they had just done, the introductions. The president had taken his seat. The Marine band had played, and it was time for the waitstaff to bring in the dinner service. So there was a moment of respite, and I said, okay, well, yeah, like you said, take some time to stretch my legs and take a little break before I head back to the table.
And obviously we saw that individual, Cole Allen, the 31-year-old, be in custody, and you were still gathering it, viewed it from afar. What did you hear from law enforcement? What was Secret Service saying in the moment? Because we know it was kind of a wave of information that flowed across the room as they heard potentially shots in the room. What were you hearing from law enforcement just in the moment as they tried to apprehend this individual?
Yeah, so it was super fast. I entered the restroom and I heard, maybe it was about 10 feet away from where I heard shots crack off. There were just a few brief moments where everybody hit the floor, hit the wall, hid in stalls. And, then we had a security officer and a Secret Service officer armed at the entrance of the restroom, and they asked us for a head count. So I counted 2, 4, 6, 15 folks in the restroom. And they were telling us to stay put. So that was the advice and the vantage point that I had. But we all knew that there were shots that had just fired through, and other witnesses had been filing into the restroom and were able to tell me what they saw. Because, of course, I only heard the gunfire.
And what takes over you? Were you scared? Were you terrified? Obviously, some sense of journalistic instinct within you said that you needed to get information. What were you feeling in that moment?
Yeah, terrified. I knew it was gunshots right away. I knew, or at least thought that there were several firearms that went off, but I did feel pretty safe. You know, this is a very well-armed Secret Service, and quickly realized that we had an armed Secret Service member in the restroom with us. So I think I knew after a moment that I was safe. And then at that point, somebody, I think he was a lawyer, picked up his phone and started recording himself talking. And then I realized, oh, I'm a reporter and this is the biggest news story of the year, you know? So I started moving forward on that.
Yeah, and obviously coming with it, and people were trying to piece it together from their viewpoints, hearing from different people as well. We spoke to the AP about that as well. This all taking place at a Washington Hilton just down the road from the White House, very familiar to people in that White House press corps. It's hosted White House Correspondents' Dinners before. We know it's a major hotel, major congregation place, various other parties in place. Did you feel safe and secure walking into this venue last night?
Yeah, it's a different question. You know, a thought occurred to me as I entered through the perimeter. Okay, I'm flashing my ticket. At some point, I'm going to give my name to somebody or have an ID check. You know, it's raining. We get to the entrance of the hotel. I flash my ticket again. I see some protesters at, you know, sort of a photo op. So I said, okay, well, protesters had been able to make it to this point in the security process. Still no moment where I'm giving my ID or having someone deeply inspect my ticket, but sometimes I'm several feet away, 5-6 feet away, just flashing the image of my ticket. Do that 2 or 3 more times as we move down the levels before we hit the actual security checkpoint. At that moment, again, no name, no ID card given. However, our possessions are checked. And that's going to be that same security checkpoint that we saw in video Alan blow through, you know, right before shots were fired.
Yeah, we saw some of that closed caption, the closed video within the service of him running through. And I want to play that for us here right now on Live Now from Fox, because it was posted by the president last night as they were just kind of meandering there, blowing through the magnetometer before those shots were fired. Gavin, I do want to ask you, because obviously around this...
how is he still existing after this, though? Okay, let me back it up.
From Fox, because it was posted by the president last night as they were just kind of meandering there, blowing through the magnetometer before those shots were fired.
He has clothes on.
Yeah, I do want to ask you, because obviously around this, what was the sense from others in the room? Did you see anything in anyone's faces that stood out to you, or any other comments from Secret Service or reporters like yourself that caught you off guard?
Yeah, the full spectrum of human emotion was on display. You know, you saw men sobbing into their tuxedo sleeves. You saw, you know, people running in fear. You saw people taking selfies and sort of nervous laughter cracking around. You saw people chugging bottles of wine. I didn't personally see that, but we all saw the videos. Everything that you can imagine as a response, every coping mechanism was on full display. And I just recall, you know, as we moved along, I had the instinct, I saw the body. I actually thought that the shooter was dead, and initially posted that I thought that the shooter in my video was dead. And as we moved along, I heard a Secret Service agent say, should we be having people in the halls right now? Because they had moved us much earlier than the bulk of the group. And then they just started yelling at us. You can see in the video, hey, let's go ahead and move on. And so we were some of the first to get out of the hotel, and there were people sobbing, people just trying to figure out what was going on.
Yeah, and obviously you saw that in some of that video, people with their phones out trying to gather just exactly where they are and what they're feeling in that moment. As you walk out of that room, as you depart the Hilton, do you feel safe in that moment? Is there still concern? What do you do next?
Yeah, so it's funny, there was roaming service, and I knew I needed to get the video to my editor. So the only thing I was really thinking about was what, you know, I need to inform our newsroom at the LA Times. I think I get on a call with my editor, tell him what I can get him, send off some video. I'm writing up my account of the moment, but my phone's at 1% because of the roaming service. So I actually found a stranger on the street who had seen the news already and asked her if I could come up to her apartment to plug in my phone and keep kind of sending some feeds over to our editors.
Who was letting
that
you
is
do that?
Very crazy to say, obviously unaccustomed, unusual for what else happens. Now we're obviously 24 hours, but how long did it take for you to have your heart rate come back down, to look at it in a different lens, in a lens that you can obviously have a little perspective? How long did that take?
Yeah, probably when I got home and got something to eat, because we had not eaten anything, and we had all just sort of been working and pushing ourselves. So it took a little while. I had a sort of a decompress with some coworkers afterward, and kind of hearing everybody's story was a little bit easier to take it all in.
And obviously, we know this individual. We know some of the background, some of the social media trail that investigators are looking into right now. What other information do you hope is out there? Are you looking into or hope to ask of an official soon?
Yeah, our team has really been forcing those questions, and I have not spent too much time really looking. I've been spending most of my time just getting my account in order for stories that, fortunately, we have a great breaking news team at the Times that has been knocking on his door and looking into his digital footprint and sort of determining what maybe motivated this attack.
All right, Gavin, I don't want to keep you any more longer, but anything else, any more thoughts? Because I can only imagine what was going through your mind last night. Anything else of note before I let you go?
It's just a miracle that nobody got shot. Apart from that, or I guess rather killed, I would say. The Secret Service did an excellent job in de-escalating the situation. Just want to express gratitude for that and for the protection that we got in that moment.
It looked like they were a little bit caught off guard, but they stood ready there. Commendable job by the Secret Service. And like you said, fortunate that no one lost their lives during that incident. All right, Gavin, thank you so much. I appreciate your time. Glad you're safe as well.
Thanks for having us, Andy. Take care.
All right. So that was News Now, Fox, and the link for that is down in the description. I'm kind of interested in why the left is so bent on deleting President Trump, as if that would resolve, as if people that support Trump would just be like, oh, they deleted him. I guess we'll all go and vote for Bernie next time. Hey, Hey, AOC, we're going to go vote for her. Like, that doesn't make sense. I don't think they realize what that would do. Like, maybe leave him alone. Maybe stop trying to fight him. And just, if you think he's going to fail, let him fail. And then build your coalition off of his failure, not trying to build your coalition at his funeral, because I don't think that's going to work. If that happened, and by God's grace it hasn't, I mean, you see what it took. And now that we're queued up, we won't allow another Candace Owens event to happen post Charlie Kirk. So that won't happen again. So if that happened, I mean, it just seems like such a brain dead idea. Like, just leave him alone. If you think he's going to fail, then let him fail. Right. And like, what would happen then? Like, what would be the event? Like, JD Vance would take over. He would be president for this. He would win. That this would galvanize the right. You can give up any hope that you had of winning the midterm left. By the way, I don't believe you're going to win the midterm, but I digress. You can give that up. You're going to have 10 years of Republican JD Vance. That's what you're going to have. It's just a fact. It makes no sense. I'm like, what is your end goal? What if your end goal is to retain power in Washington, D.C.? Why not actually put out platforms and actually put out policies that the right would have no other choice but to say, yeah, I support that? Because deleting and attacking the president seems to be your only thing. It seems to be the only thing. And you don't actually have a policy that you're a policy that you're aiming for or striving to actually implement. What is the problem? I found a video, and I don't want to watch this one right now because I just remembered that I didn't pull it up. Let me grab it real quick. Let me see. It's a liberal talk show explaining why they do what they're doing. So what I just said right here, actually, I already knew the answer because I watched the gentleman explain it. And it doesn't, oh, crackers. Okay, here it is. Okay. It's not super long. It's only 8 minutes. So I want to bring this in just to keep this conversation interesting. And I want to give you, and I didn't add this. Let me drop it in the chat. I'll try to remember to put it in the video as well, description as well. All right, I just put in the chat. It's called Ring of Fire. And the gentleman is saying Democrats must do this to win. And that's the title of the video. Independents hate Republicans more is this idea that he's doing. Voice of the left is the conversation. Let me know what you think about this. I want to hear your thoughts on this particular. All right. So let's go.
More poll numbers, but I'm going beyond the
Greenheart's in the chat where you can hear
Trump free fall, because there is a real story in the poll numbers that a lot of people in the media are missing. I'm covering G. Elliott Morris, his polls. He used to run the 538 polling operation, and he had a whole survey that came out last week. And it's one of the best pieces of public polling you'll read all year, by the way. It is really well done. Both parties are underwater. That's not the news. But the asymmetry, the actual shape of the unfavorables tells you exactly how this election is getting won. So here's some top line numbers real quick. Democratic Party, 45% favorable, 48% unfavorable. Republican Party, 39% favorable, 55% unfavorable. That is 16 points difference there. 42% of Americans say that their view of the Republican Party is very unfavorable. It's 12 points higher than the same very unfavorable number for the Democrats. Yet independents still rate Democrats at a net -9. Fortunately, they're rating Republicans at a net -30. And
okay, and I just want, I'm going to give you, I want you to listen to what he says. Toward the end, he gives a strategy that the left needs to do. I want us to pay attention to this. And notice his strategy is not to delete your opposition. I will give you that spoiler alert.
Then a separate Fox News poll is telling you that Republicans are outperforming Democrats on a few key issues. What that poll is measuring is how the GOP is perceived on a handful of topics, very narrow. And what Morris is measuring is more of the whole portrait, and the whole portrait is uglier on the Republican side. But here's some bad news. And I can't believe I'm saying this. I can't believe it. Fox News has a point. Because where do Democrats actually lose? Where are the opportunities for us to improve? It's 4 traits.
All right, pay attention to these. I think these are very key. Because the same thing could be said, like, listen to what it is that the Democrats could win on. I really want you pull out your notes, get out a napkin and a pen. I think these are actually pretty cogent. I want to hear your thoughts on them, though. So let's go. Here comes.
Same 4 traits I've been yelling about: strong leadership, clear messaging, getting things done, the willingness to fight. Republicans are winning on all 4. And the widest gap is on strong leadership. Republicans have an 11-point spread there in their favor. And when Morris asked people to name a Democrat whose values they share, it's a scattershot list.
Okay, in the chat, real quick, in the chat, tell me a Democrat leader that you think leads the party, leads the Democrat Party, even if you're not a Democrat. I'm not trying to say you're a Democrat, but like, who would be a leader that you say, oh, that's my person. That's the person, the face of the Democrat Party. Like, who would it be? Who is it? Put in the chat. I want to see what do y'all see? Because I'm going to hear the list that he gives. I want to see, do you all agree with his list? Who represents the party? The Democrat Party. Okay. Scamming Gavin. Okay. Can't think of one. Okay. They're mad at Fetterman. I think Obama. Okay. Got you. Okay. Okay. AOC, Schumer. Okay. Okay. Schumer. Okay. Lots of good, solid answers. Mamdani. Okay. All right. Barack Obama. Wait, what is it? Needs to go away and retire. Maybe Don Lemon, Fetterman. Okay. I think you all get my point. There isn't one. There is not one solid, universal, we could all agree candidate or person male or female, that represents the Democrat Party. Now, okay, so let us stop for a second. Let us have peace for a moment. Who would you say represents the Republican Party? Who is the face of the Republican Party? What did MT say? I saw it, but I didn't. Well, there we go. Well, I don't disagree with that at all. I think it's fair to say that everybody agrees that Donald Trump is the face of the Republican Party. Like him or not, however you think about Soros is the face of the Republican Party. Everybody, well, for the most part, everybody recognizes that it's Trump, and most people will probably say Trump, Vance, Rubio, something of that nature. But most people would say Trump first, right? So let's finish up with this, because I think that's part of the strength of the Republican Party, is that there is actually a leader. And matter of fact, even when Biden was president, you wouldn't have said that most people wouldn't have said that Biden was primarily the leader of the party, the face of the party, because there was so much infighting even in the Democrat Party at that time. Let's keep going.
Bernie, AOC, Obama, Harris, Buttigieg, Newsom, Mamdani.
Buttigieg,
no one is close to a plurality. Republicans, when asked the same question, they named Trump and Vance. That's it. 2 names by a huge margin. That is the leadership gap. It's not a ideological problem. It's a face problem. But there is good news. When Morris asked Democrats what the party does that upsets them the most, do you know what the number one answer was? It wasn't that they're too woke. It wasn't that they're too liberal. 30% of Democrats, the single largest bucket, said that the party is too weak and not fighting hard enough. Looking at you, Chuck Schumer. Another 17% specifically cited the fall 2025 shutdown, where the leadership caved without winning anything on the ACA subsidies. Of the 100 plus Democrats who gave a fight harder answer, more than half of them named Trump by name. That's who they want us to fight against harder. So I'm going to translate this, break this down for the guy in Scranton and the woman in Phoenix that are trying to decide if they're going to bother showing up in November. Democratic voters are not asking their party to moderate. They're asking their party to stop blinking. They're asking them to stop sending strongly worded letters. They're asking them to treat this moment, a president at 36% approval running an unpopular war while denaturalizing citizens and handing the FBI to a guy who allegedly needs a battering ram to get him out of his hungover bed. They're just asking them to treat this moment like a moment. Look at Virginia this week. Democrats ran a hard gerrymander. They took 4 congressional seats off the board. Hakeem Jeffries is within spitting distance of that 218 now. That's fighting. Virginia did it, and they didn't ask nicely. Of course, you have John Fetterman, the lone Democrat who publicly sided with Republicans against the Virginia play, is also the lone Democrat who's cratered in the approval ratings of his own state's Democratic voters. Fighting is popular. Surrender is not. That data is not confusing. And sure, there's a Republican judge that stopped the whole Virginia thing for now, but I don't think that's going to hold up. If it gets any further, they're going to go with the will of the voters. But on the Democrat side, what is the solution? Honestly, it's not that hard. Morris's data points point straight at it.
Okay, this is the last point that he makes that I think really needs to be taken seriously. Let's keep going.
Democrats need to pick fights and finish them. The party wins on a tolerance by 26 points. It wins on democratic institution by 16. But it wins on caring about the middle class by 11. Those are massive gaps. But you can't run on, we care about you, while also running on, and if they take away your health care, we're just going to write a letter about it. We're going to tweet about it. Your own voters are telling you. Independents are telling you. The only people not telling you are the consultants and the lobbyists that make money no matter what you do. Republicans win the perception battle on strength because they're willing to do the absurd, lawless, cruel things in public. That's where their strength comes from. But that's not hard to counter. You don't have to be cruel. You just have to be visible. Stand in front of an ICE raid. Force a floor vote. Do the things that make the 5 o'clock news and that your base will screenshot and share across the internet. You win by making the opposition show up on camera saying, no, we think taking Americans off their health insurance is good. You make them defend that stuff publicly every day. Democrats just have to stop getting in their own way. They're losing a foot race on effort to an alleged dementia patient. And the solution is simple. Try harder, damn it. The fate of the world is in your hands. And we're going to be covering this all the way through to November. And all I ask of you guys, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification icon. That way you...
So I wanted you to hear that because he talked about a leadership gap. I think Republicans, hands down, are winning in the leadership. He's talking about getting things done. I do believe that Republicans are getting things done. I don't think the Democrats actually have a plan. First of all, what they want to get done and getting it done are riding in the same car with no wheels and the engine's on fire. The things they want to get done are inept, and their desire to get them done is not there either. And very last thing, I think that taking the fight argument, I want to bring up another clip. This was not planned, so I have to add this to the list of things I need to add afterwards. I did not plan this, but I want y'all to see this is what, quote unquote, happened when they tell Democrats that they have to engage in quarrelsome behavior. Check this one out. All right, let's go. Green hearts in the chat. Let me make sure it's loud. Green hearts in the chat when you can hear.
You Trumpers, be careful. Walk lightly. And for those of you who are soldiers, make them pay.
You voted Trump! You voted Trump! Oh, yeah! I will go and take Trump out tonight. And if you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you say the crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere.
Protesters attacking Trump supporters. Those supporters were attacked as they left the convention center in San Jose overnight. Some punched, some chased down and beaten. Others had bottles thrown at them.
The protesters shaking cars, breaking taillights.
So you literally didn't say anything to provoke them?
I was like, yeah, Trump. At another point, protesters followed this couple, violently harassing them. Police were there, armed in riot gear, but from what we witnessed, reluctant to initially stop or engage the protesters. Spat on, bottles thrown at them, then punches.
They go low, we don't go high. We take them to the mud and choke them out.
Donald Trump, I think you need to go back and punch him in the face.
That I thought he should have punched him in the face.
I feel like punching him.
Other Trump supporters beaten.
What happened?
I was walking on the street and this guy like sucker punched me in the back of the head.
You got to be ready to throw a punch. You have to be ready to throw a punch.
I'd like to take him behind the gym if I were in high school. If we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
After a WSU graduate student allegedly attacked another student who was wearing a Trump hat. He is now facing an assault charge.
Take him out now.
When was the last time an actor assassinated a president?
They're still going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump.
Happened.
Trump supporter Arthur Schaefer, seen here earlier in the day, became a target later on. A mob chased him for a block and a half, took his flag, Trump hat, and glasses, and spat all over him.
You know, I'm okay with people making white supremacists feel unwelcome.
Please get up in the face of some Congress people.
People will do what they do.
Antifa counter-demonstrators set off a purple smoke bomb, a signal to push aside barricades and move in.
I want to tell you, Gorsuch, I want to tell you, Kavanaugh, you have released the whirlwind, and you will pay the price.
Please, Nazi, please! Please, Nazi, please! Please, Nazi, please!
People need to start taking to the streets. This is a dictator.
At one of these protests. We're throwing some footage right now. We can't actually air the audio because it is so full of obscenities and cursing at this guy.
He got punched, kicked. They're covering him in vegan milkshake. They stole his camera equipment.
Yeah.
And they're chasing him, throwing things at him. It is just so vile.
This is the tolerant left.
Self-proclaimed Antifa activist Michael Reinell seen in newly released surveillance images stepping off the sidewalk moments before police say he fatally shot pro-Trump supporter Jay Danielson.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country, and maybe there will be.
You know, there needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
Enemies of the state
Show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
When they go low, we kick.
How do you resist the temptation to run up and wring her neck?
Biggest terror threat in this country is white men.
I'd like to punch him in the face. I said if we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him. Punch some people in the
Where is John Wilkes Booth when you need him?
This way. That's it right there. Pull it up.
I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
And sadly, the domestic enemies to our voting system and our honoring our Constitution are right at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
They're not going to stop before Election Day in November, and they're not going to stop after Election Day. And that should be, everyone should take note of that on both levels, that this isn't, they're not going to let up, and they should not.
So I wanted.
This is just a warning to you, Trumpers.
I dropped the link to it.
Be careful.
It wouldn't allow me to make the screen any bigger. So anyway, I dropped the link down in the chat. Y'all can definitely grab that, and I'll make sure to add it to the description of the video. Yeah, when that gentleman was saying that Democrats need to fight, what is the policy that you're actually trying to fight for? Because this is all that they're translating it as. The mostly peaceful protests, the summer of love, that kind of stuff. That's what they translate it as, because they don't actually have policies that they're trying to promote and push. They just want this. This is what they want. And so I said, vegan milkshake. That is some crazy work. I have no idea what a vegan milkshake is, but it sounds disgusting, in my opinion. It sounds disgusting. But back to my point. I just thought that was informative, and I just wanted to give you an idea of what I think personally Republicans would benefit strictly by going out and pushing policies, talking about the policies and what they're actually doing, not justifying what's going on in Iran. Talk about what's going on right here in the United States. That's the problem I think most people are forgetting. They're looking over the prosperity of the United States to talk about what's going on somewhere else. Help them to zero in on what's going on right here. Sure, we need to talk about these gas prices. That should be something we should get our arms around. But please understand, people complain about gas prices, but California gas prices have always been crazy. Yeah, I mean, like we need to figure a lot of things out here, and maybe talk about those things and get those things, our arms around those right here, before we start worrying about what's going on over in Iran or the little sliver of New Jersey of the Middle East and all so forth. How about we worry about what's going on right here? And talk about those. I think if Republicans talk about those, they'll do much better. Much better than, because again, just like the gentleman said, hold their feet to the fire about healthcare. You know what? I'm holding your feet to the fire about why the fact that Seattle is losing jobs left and right and center. We could do a whole video about what happened with Seattle and Starbucks. Now, I know a lot of you all don't like Starbucks, and I haven't been in a couple of days, so shout out. But Starbucks quietly opening up a second headquarters in Tennessee. I'm guaranteeing you before 2028, Seattle will no longer be the headquarters of Starbucks. They're moving to Tennessee. You don't open up a second headquarter in the South. You don't do that. You don't do that. The reason they did that is because they're trying to move out of Seattle. And I mean, it is pretty bad. So we could definitely look at that. But my point is, what are y'all fighting for? What are you fighting for? Left, what are you fighting for? We want you to have jobs and good paying jobs. What are you fighting for? There we go. See, there's a rub. Okay, I'm looking here. Look at what we got here. There's definitely, we could have some conversation about that. Shay, I kind of agree with you with the amount of production within the United States. These gas companies seem to be taking advantage of the country. I agree. And I think we should have that conversation. But see, that's somewhere I think the Republicans could win on. Democrats won't win on that. Because even with the gas prices where they are today, Democrats have no plan to lower those gas prices. Because they want to add more regulations, more green energy, more of that foolishness. Those numbers are going to go up even higher. They're mad because they can't get them higher. That's what they're mad about. Starbucks caused their own problems. And yeah, oh, for sure. Oh, no argument for me at all. I've said this many a time. that Starbucks was his own greatest enemy. Wait, where's here? Wait, let me see. Everybody that works at Starbucks is a lefty here. That's what. Oh, okay, gotcha. That's why Starbucks. Yeah, I mean, Starbucks was his own enemy. However, even though everybody in your local Starbucks is probably a leftist, that's probably more true than false. The company still wants to make a profit, and they realize they're not making a profit in Seattle. I mean, when the mayor-elect gets up and demands that Seattleans actually protest one of the largest companies and employers in their town in their city to protest them, that was crazy work, man. I mean, it's a dual-edged sword, right? But it's very interesting. Let's go. Starbucks coffee ain't good. Let's just start there. I mean, you make a great point. Oh, Texas. Oh my gosh, yeah. Starbucks is going to have to really do a rebrand to work in Texas. I agree. Oh no, their policies are terrible. They have some terrible policies, and I'm definitely not excusing those at all. Okay, all right. I have one more. Oh, I had another good one. All right, so I got in some people are upset about the fact that, oh, you call yourself a conservative. Like, yeah, what am I supposed to be? So, shout out. I don't know how I found this one. I don't know who this one is. I don't know if it's Jamal, you're a single mom, Jamal, or what, who put this together. But am I independent? No, I am considered what's considered a conservative, a Republican. There you go. But I thought it's interesting because we're going to talk about that. Shout out. Great question. Let's pull this one in. I just thought this was hilarious. So check it out. Let's talk about it. Let's go.
You a Black Democrat? You mean the same party you say has been helping you for decades, but your communities look worse, not better? You mean the same party that started the Ku Klux Klan and somehow convinced you they're your savior? You mean the same political machine where LBJ, after signing the Civil Rights Act, said they're going to keep these niggas voting for generations? 62 years later, and you're still predictable. They dangled a Black male president in front of you that did nothing for Black people and everything for gay people, and a Black female president that advertised to you with white people tacos and Megan Thee Stallion twerking on stage. And you never stopped to question that? They told you they were fighting poverty, but really they went and knocked on the doors of Black families and told them that if they got rid of the man in the household, they could have this money. And what we now know as the welfare system. They strategically demolished the nuclear family, leaving over half of the mothers in our community single mothers for generations. Policies that incentivize broken homes, dependency instead of independence, they made it so you systematically rely on them, and now over half of the Black households are dependent on the government. And they tell you crime is someone else's fault, while your neighborhoods keep getting worse in the very cities that they run. And now they've got you fighting for illegal immigrants that take your jobs and have been killing your people, and they still give you nothing. How are you a Black conservative? How are you a Black Democrat? You mean this?
All right, I thought that young lady was cooking. Oh, and by the way, somebody asked me about the sound effect. All right, hold on one second. I did actually, we did a little bit of sound effect upgrade this weekend. Here it comes. Somebody asked for it. We got it. No, I thought that was great. I did drop the link to that one, by the way, in the chat, so you can definitely check it out for sure. What we got right here. Yeah, I'm a conservative and a Christian. So what I mean by that is simply this: my conservatism is informed by my Christianity. So the reason I'm a conservative is not because it's the flavor du jour and all the cool kids are doing it and that's the party that's going to win. No, I'm a conservative because I do believe in conservatism. And what I'm trying to conserve is the family. What I'm trying to conserve is the life of children. What I'm trying to conserve and want to see conserved and preserved is fiscal responsibility. Those are the things. So you feel free, email management if you have a concern, question, or comment about it. jwitt@jwitt.com. I will absolutely talk to you about it. But at the end of the day, I think one of the problems is we don't hold liberals, especially those liberals who profess to be Christian. I think that's in my opinion, I think it's an oxymoron. And I know people are getting their feelings about it, but hey, email management and let's talk about it. maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you can book, chapter, verse in context these things for me and help me see them. Because if you can convince me from the book, then I'm good. I will absolutely support you. If you can convince me from the book, then we're good. I'm sorry, but I don't see how you square the peg of being a Democrat for the deletion of little people. Let's just start there. For the deletion of little people and say that you're a Christian. I don't understand how that works. Now, I will admit, maybe I'm just not smart enough. Maybe I'm not bright enough. Maybe I'm not in tune enough. Book, chapter, and verse in context that for me, and I'll actually listen to you. But otherwise, when you're saying the exact same thing that the unregenerate heathens, atheists, and monsters are saying in society, but you profess that you are in Christ, I got some questions about that. I got some hand raised. Both my hands are raised. I got a lot of questions about how do you do that? How is it that what you're saying about little people and the deletion of little people is the exact same thing that people that hate black folk used to say, or people that hate older people used to say, or the person who had any kind of physical ailment, what they say? How is that? I don't understand that. Help me make sense of that. I want to see. I want to understand it. So that's that. I'm here to pick a fight today. Wait. Oh, wait. Thank you, friend. I like to debate them. I have time on my hands and a Starbucks in the end of my street. Sounds like destiny. Shout out to you for sure. Okay, y'all having a whole nother conversation. Okay, somebody talking to me. I appreciate you. Thank you so much, Firestarter. I love it. So yeah, I just want to understand. I also want to shout out Amethyst. Shout out to Amethyst with the 5. She says this: in Pennsylvania, midterms are closed. You must be a registered Democrat or Republican to vote. That is the fight. That's the fight we and other states must fight. So far, failure. Okay, I agree with you. But what about independence? How do they? So they don't have independence in Pennsylvania? That's wild. Thank you, Amethyst, for the 5, and I appreciate it. Definitely praying for y'all. A little off topic, but what do you think about when people say don't stand on issues, walk with people? I've never heard that before. Don't stand on issues, walk with people. Just watching 6, I might need a little bit more. I've never heard that before. I have no idea what that is. I think I understand what it means, but I might need a little bit more before I say something wrong. But I'll address it. I think give me something else. Give me a little bit more. I'm a conservative because being conservative lines up with the Bible. My conservatism is informed by Scripture. Matter of fact, I met somebody the other day, and he said, are you a Republican or Democrat? I said, I'm a conservative. He said, oh, are you a conservative? Why are you a conservative? He was looking very, looking down, if you will. And I said, I'm a conservative because conservatism lines up with what I understand the scriptures in the Bible to teach. So my conservatism is informed and founded on the scriptures. His face totally changed. Now, he wasn't a Christian, but he knew that I wasn't just running around saying, oh, I'm a conservative because today is Monday and all the cool kids are doing it. He knew that I knew what I was talking about. So shout out. Yeah, email management, man. Let management know that you don't like it, and that's it. Okay, I want to see, personally, I'm standing on issues. My main issue is the lives of unborn children. No argument for me. That's a liberal mantra. I want to understand what it means, because I shout out to Just Watching 6. Again, I think I understand it, but I want to hear what do you mean by it? Or how is it being used? I've never heard it before. It sounds like they are saying don't stand for right over wrong, stands with the people who are there marching and protesting. Okay. Well, I will say this, though. It never happens when somebody presents an argument like this. Oh, wait, here it is. Okay, before I say anything, hold on. Before I put my foot in my mouth. Okay, Carlos Whitaker is a liberal Christian. In my opinion, that is something. He says, Carlos Whitaker? Who the heck is that? He better not be fronting using my name. Who's Carlos Whitaker? And he spells it with 2 T's. We were the poor Whitakers. We couldn't. I have no idea who this guy is. But just looking at him, I can tell I got a problem. Hold on. All right, let me look at his Instagram. He's got a nice looking family. Hold on, let's see.
Really hopeful, really educational Black History Month video that I was so excited about posting today. But then the internet said, nope. Now I waited until 2:50 p.m. Central Time to say something because I wanted information, not necessarily.
Okay, I'm watching a video of his, Carlos Whitaker. Let me pull it in. We can watch it together. I have no idea what he's talking about. Can I back this up?
More outrage. And now that we have all the information, I need to say something really clearly. Y'all know that I'm a justice-oriented person. You can scroll my feed for 15 seconds and you can figure that out. You also know that this little corner of the internet is made up of people that care deeply across the political divide. That's actually what makes this little space somewhat special. Around here, we like to say we don't stand on issues, we walk with people. And that's how people with various viewpoints can stay in the same room, even if—
Perfect. I got you. I got it. Okay. I got it. Okay. I don't even need to watch the rest of this. Here, I'll drop the link for it. I got it now. Here, I'll drop the link for y'all. Y'all can check him out. There we go. I got it. I totally get it. Just watching 6. Oh, this is a damnable heresy. Let me tell you why I say that. This is the idea, and I was about to say this. Imagine somebody, let's go back. Everybody is in high school. We're all in high school, right? And we have one friend, and we're going to use Just Watching 6. Just Watching 6 really, really, really wants to get into college sports. And Just Watching 6 is phenomenal at volleyball, okay? And Just Watching 6 practices, works out, the eating is dialed in, all that kind of stuff like that. And because Just Watching 6 wants to become a collegiate volleyball player. She's doing great in high school, but wants to become a collegiate volleyball player. And she knows that there's a scholarship possibility if she really dials in. So she's been zeroed, focused, crazy focused. I would say, oh, no. This is what Carlos would say. No, we don't stay, because I want Just Watching 6 to go out and eat, stay up late, maybe, take some adult beverages or maybe some wacky tobacco. All the other kids are doing it. Everybody else is doing it. Why are you doing it? Why don't you just walk with us? Just Watching 6. Why are you so judgmental? We're out here doing things that, nobody's dying or anything like that. We just drive late with our lights off and drinking and doing things like that. Why don't you just walk with us? Don't stand on ideas and principles that you want to get into college and get into collegiate volleyball with a scholarship. Just walk with us. It's always the person that holds the standard that always has to dumb it down. That's what this dude is talking about. That's exactly what he's talking about. And he's got a bad name. We only the 1 T Whitakers. Why you got 2 T's? All right, so that's what he's doing. That's exactly what he's doing. LOL, so sorry. I'm trying to explain, but find his own words. He basically says this, and he uses this when he doesn't want to stand up for there. That's exactly it. He doesn't want you to stand up to hold a standard so that you can get into collegiate volleyball and get the scholarship and be the first one in your family to go to college. He wants you to dumb yourself down so that he don't feel bad. That's what he's doing. That's exactly what he's doing. And they like to use the, I'm super empathetic. I'm about justice. I care about the weak and the lowly, but he don't care about children. I care about the weak and the lowly. But he cares about illegal immigrants, not the people that live here. It's a it's a horrible flex. So that's what he's doing. I thought that was it. When I was thinking that, and then I pulled this video up, I could get his face off the screen. All right, bless you, Carlos, man. Hope you figured out. Yeah, this guy is he's lost like a ball in tall weeds, for sure. Liberalism mixed with Christianity destroys churches. See, they never get better. Why is it that liberal churches never get better? They never become more reformed, more orthodox, more Bible centric. Why is that? Oh, okay, never mind. Just look at the McLean Bible Church and David Platt, and now Mike. I haven't checked them out in a long time. I'll look into them, but I think we get the point. I think y'all get the point. Did I have that other video? I think that was the only one. Okay, I think I'm done. I got all my videos done for the day. That's what the entire Democrat side is doing, dumbing things down. DEI. And what did we get? One hot mess in multiple fields, military, pilots, etc. I agree. 100% agree. And I appreciate your example of me being able to play volleyball as a 5'2" girly. I can only dream. Okay, well, see, powerlifting. I don't think they have girls collegiate powerlifting. I think you get my point. Something. You're something you're trying to do great, and they want you to dumb it down. They want you to dumb it down. Step down. Stop holding up the standard. Stop being the standard. Stop it. Don't be the standard that makes me look at myself and see that I'm not doing what I need to do. Don't be the example that causes me to look and be like, dang, I need to do better. Nope. Dumb it down so I can feel good about myself. I say stand on issues because too often stand for people is about emotions. There we go. This is exactly what he's doing. Excellent fire starter. And emotions are often not wrong. You can't care about citizens when they're emotionally tied to the plight of illegals. I don't think we're far off at all. But yeah, shout out for that. Thank you so much for that. Just watching 6. I appreciate it because that's exactly what the problem is. Yeah, I think that's what you meant. I figured out that's what you meant. But y'all, thank y'all so much, man. This is a great morning. It is an excellent morning. Getting things going. I got 2 videos that I'm working on, and then we're gonna oh shoot. So people are worried because Erica Kirk was at the White House correspondent dinner and people are focusing on her. These people are weird, man. I'm sorry, man. We should just laugh at these people. We should literally bring back mocking as a national sport. We should just mock them, man. I mean, I don't even know why we're even giving any of these people. So they're upset that Erica. Let me look at this, y'all. We're gonna look at it together. Shout out to. I didn't have this on the schedule, so let me grab it and I'll drop it in the chat. Shout out to Red Dawn Daily, beautiful content creator. She be getting it done over here. I didn't know that Erica Kirk was in the mix because of the White House correspondent dinner. These people make me tired. Like, you people are exhausting. Yes, we must continue. The mockery will continue until morale improves. I'm like, y'all people are exhausting. And maybe that's what they're trying to do. Maybe they're trying to exhaust us and make us so tired. Shout out to Red Dawn. Give me green hearts in the chat when you can hear. I don't know what she's talking about. It's only like 6 minutes, so let's go.
What we did see is some real deep, disturbed emotions in that room, one of whom was Erica Kirk. And she came right by me. It was just a few seconds in tears saying, I just want to leave. Imagine her distress as she's sitting there hearing the same thing that we all heard, and knowing what happened to her husband, and being in that scenario, she looked visibly terrified.
She has been through so much, and to have to experience something like that again so soon is just heartbreaking.
A few moments later.
Y'all, Erica Kirk just did something really weird right before everything went down at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Take a look at these viral videos of what she did right before and right after that are making people ask, what did she see and what did she hear, allegedly?
Stop it. Get some help.
There was another attempt. This time it happened in the Hilton Hotel at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. And the suspect was quickly apprehended.
You're going to jail. You're going to jail.
Just after 8:30, this was the scene set for the annual dinner. 2,500 in the room. In the lobby at the security checks, a man runs through the metal detectors. Sir Heard.
How's that dude
takes
still?
a moment for people in the room to react. Just outside the ballroom, a suspect on the ground. The president, by now secure and back on his social media, posting these two images of Cole Thomas Allen, a 31-year-old from California.
See, as you can see, the more you around, the more you're going to find out.
She looks like she's enjoying dinner. This is right before everything goes down. There's something on his phone. She makes this face. And this is allegedly, look at this face. This is allegedly right before things go down. And then she starts looking really uncomfortable. And you can see again, her looking uncomfortable. She has seen something on the phone. Something is happening. And it's making people wonder, what did she see on his phone right before this all went down? You see this? So after all that, she walks out crying and is escorted out. People are demanding to know.
So one of the things, and I have a video I'm working on right now about the fact that people love to slow videos down or speed them up to make it look nefarious. That is some crazy work, man. I don't know how these people sleep at night. I don't know how they feel good about what they're doing when you know that you're just getting an image of the way somebody's looking and you're assuming that it's something on the phone. Why is it not something that he said? Maybe not. She's thinking maybe the babysitter just sent them a message and said, hey, little Johnny or little Sally, XYZ. Like, why do you immediately think something nefarious? And why is Erica Kirk the one that you're thinking about it? Like, why? This is a brain rot situation. Nobody can win. Yeah, like I said, I got a video coming up on this. We're gonna have some fun.
Oh, what was on that cell phone that made her react that way? And then her leaving. People think she was being melodramatic. A lot of people think maybe she was faking tears. But people seem to think something was up.
Bye, Felicia.
Bye.
All of the conditions that took place tonight, and I will say, it's not a particularly secure building. And I didn't want to say this, but this is why we have to have all of the attributes of what we're planning at the White House. It's actually a larger room, and it's a much more secure.
What the is Donald Trump talking about? First, if the hotel was not secure, that means that the security details, and I do believe that this was staged, and here's why. On April 16th, the U.S. judge blocked Donald Trump's $400 million ballroom from being built. In fact, Fox News reported the judge blocked it unless it was deemed strictly necessary for national security purposes. And then 10 days later, there was an on the president during the correspondent dinner. And if we actually analyze the security details, I mean, Charlie Kirk's funeral had better security details than this. Al Jazeera reported that the White House correspondent dinner had airport security level, while Charlie Kirk's funeral had level 1 security measures. It was also reported that the attacker was allegedly a hotel guest, and he was able to breach the outermost security checkpoint, which is located near the hotel lobby. And it's been reported that hotel guests still have access to the hotel lobby during this event. Also talking about a president who had 2 previous. He has even came out and said that Iran is trying to take his life. This doesn't prove that we need a $400 million ballroom in the White House.
Whatever. It's amazing. Beta!
Law enforcement has requested that we leave the premises consistent with protocol. And he wanted to emphasize that nobody was hurt. He and the First Lady, the cabinet, everybody's safe.
We've all been ushered out of the Washington Hilton now, and the president has announced that he will do a news conference at the White House in half an hour's time. So we're going to head there now.
Well, thank you very much. That was very unexpected. One officer was but saved by the fact that he was wearing obviously a very good bulletproof vest. He was from very close. My impression is he was a lone wolf, whack job.
Well, that was a memorable news conference for sure, not only because it happened so quickly after the shooting, the president being ushered out,
Shout out to both
whisked out of the ballroom, driven from the Hilton back here to the White House, and then pretty much straight into the press room to deliver that news conference. But look at who was around him as well. His wife, the First Lady, was there. The Vice President flanked him as well, and so many other senior members of the cabinet. Really unusual, remarkable.
Continue to pray for and over the president. Also, one can only hope. I mean, maybe I shouldn't get my hopes up too high, but I'm really, really hoping that this will be a wake-up call to people to turn down the temperature in the room, to stop with all of the over-the-top and ridiculous rhetoric. There were so many people in this room that could have been harmed, that could have gotten injured, but weren't, thank goodness. But I think there are a lot of people that need to go and give themselves a good, long, hard look in the mirror, because now it's dangerous to even do the job of trying to cover the president. If that's the kind of work environment that you want, well, congratulations. You can use my Buy Me a Coffee link to buy Leroy a dog treat.
All right, shout out to Red Dawn Daily. Go buy her a coffee. Buy her a coffee. I just think that's crazy work. So now Erica Kurt is being melodramatic. Y'all, I just can't. I don't ever want to be that needy that I try to create a story to that degree. I hope I'm never that needy. I hope I'm never that shallow that I have to create. Oh, look, she saw something on the phone and look at her face. Oh, these people sound insane. Oh, they sound insane. And I just remembered I had another video. I just found it. I had it open and I totally forgot about it. The leader has social media accounts that completely align with his actions as well as his manifesto. He sent his family minutes before the attack. Yeah. Yeah, that was just interesting though. So, all right. That is it, good people. I do want to talk about I almost can't add anything to this video. It is such a you get what you get. We might have to bring back up that mess around and find out diagram, because this one right here is exactly what happens. Yeah, they are definitely shallow. So let me set the stage. And I might just play Greg's video. Hopefully he won't beat me up. Black Conservative Perspective link is down in the description. So we've all heard these people, they self-righteously get on social media, get on the Lord's internet and talk about how they're fleeing the United States. We've heard people going to Mexico. We've heard people now going to Canada and elsewhere, only to find out that you mess around, you find out that you can't do that. And so this woman, she fled from Montana to Canada, and she messed around and she found out. I can't feel bad for him though. I can't feel bad at all. Not one bit. And I think I might actually, like I said, I might just play this video and just laugh because I think it's hilarious. This woman got over here on the Lord's internet talking about how she and her family are fleeing the United States because of, actually it was actually a brain dead reason in itself. She wanted her kids to be in a place where there's diversity. That's what she said. That's what she said. Oh, the leader had a bulletproof vest on? Oh, okay. Gotcha. And so let me pull this in. Like I said, I might end up just playing the whole thing without even a lot of commentary because it is so funny This is what happens. I'm going to speed up a little smidgen just so we can, I don't want it to be too long. All right. I think it's hilarious. So, but America's not diverse enough, she said. But the funny thing is, she is going to be, it sounds like she was racially profiled in Canada by Canadians, and it didn't go the way she thought it would. Shout out to the best live chat on the internet. You know how we like to do it. Green hearts in the chat when you can hear.
Y'all, I was in tears this morning.
Why?
As I dropped my kids off at summer camp here in Calgary, Alberta, in Canada. Just thinking about how I had to relocate my family 5.5 hours away from our ranch in Montana.
Why?
Just so that my children can be in an environment where diversity flourishes.
So you moved 5 hours away. That would be almost like me moving from Georgia to North Carolina or Georgia to Mississippi. So I'm moving away because I want to be somewhere where diversity flourishes. Okay. Not they have a better economic plan, not land is cheaper, not there's better jobs. I want to go somewhere where there's just a lot of diversity. Because I guess there's no diversity in the United States. I mean, good gracious, man. Man, this is crazy.
So that we could be in an environment where people are loving and kind.
That's when you turn empathy and being empathetic to people into, I guess this is what they mean by weaponizing empathy, or you just turn it into something ridiculous. Like, I want to go around where people are loving and kind. So nobody in the United States is loving and kind. You had to go 5 hours away. So if we just, okay, that makes sense to you. Okay, I just want to make sure that makes sense. Well, don't worry. She is on the mess around aspect of the equation. She's about to find out.
American, I had to relocate.
You didn't have to.
To another country to find kindness.
That's crazy.
And get in a society, an educated society that values diversity.
Several months later.
So I have been a help to the economy in Canada, and I am just shocked that I was treated this way, but I don't need any sympathy or anything like that. I know people down in the States have been treated way worse at the border. But I just wanted to say this, be careful if you're going to apply for permanent residency. That is going to, if you don't get in, that will be a target and a mark on you at the border. They have a way of seeing that, and they will hold it against you.
Oh, dear.
So goodbye, Canada. It was nice. I will not ever come back, but I love you guys. Thank you so much. And I'm praying God's best for you.
Wait. Real quick in the chat, put where you are from. We, the J-Wit podcast, we're a little bit international every now and then. We have folk popping in from Finland and South Africa. Put in the chat where you from. You can put your emoji for your country. Are you in the great state of Georgia? All that kind of stuff. Put it in the chat, whatever. All right, let's go, Greg. What you got to say, Greg?
So once again, we got to talk about one of my favorite kind of stories to cover on this channel, which is the trend of wokes, liberals, Democrats, leftists fleeing the country over racism, hate, and bigotry, and Trump. And then getting a brutal reality check that the grass is not always greener on the other side. So yet again, we have another one of these stories, right, that I want to talk about, that I want to react to, featuring a woman who has a ranch in Montana, but decided to flee the country because of Trump and racism, just to find out that in Canada, the country that she fled to, they were not going to let her stay permanently, right? And also on top of that, they may be racist as well, too. And I want to talk about it because I think stories like this are a great example of how delusional most of these people are. They try to flee the country. They always end up coming back because there's no better country on earth, especially for a black person, than in the United States of America. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this.
Okay, y'all. So I want to tell you why I would not recommend you apply for permanent residency in Canada. I'm going to tell you our story. Most of you guys know, ever since this election with Rump, I'm the 92% that didn't vote for him. My family and I decided last year that we would start traveling abroad, looking for a second home. Our primary home is in Montana on 46 acres, but we said we were going to start looking for a second home out of the country because we have no idea where we're headed with this guy in leadership. So the first country we chose to explore is Canada. That one of the main reasons is because we live.
Just in case, I'm sorry, Mindy might not understand. 92%, when she said the 92%, you're like, what? What's going on there? He didn't get 92% of the vote, or she didn't get 92% of the vote. 92% of Black women voted for Kamala Harris for their phony, false, and fake cosplaying Indian woman. So they're proud of that. And they say, oh, I'm part of the 92%. You'll even hear people say, I'm part of the 8%, right? April Chapman likes to say that. And Crystal Beyond Labels, they'll say like, no, I'm part of the 8%. So that's what that means. And I don't think Canada's going abroad either. Like, yeah. But so that's what that means, just in case you're wondering. All right, let's go.
Close to the border of Canada. We're about 5.5 hours from Calgary. And so we said, we've been there a lot and we kind of liked it, but we've never spent time. We said, okay, let's use the 6-month tourist visa. They give Americans 6 months. Well, we've been there. You guys know I've been posting on TikTok, all the positive experiences. Canada is winning in all the ways that matter, in my opinion, right? Canadians are kind.
Canada is winning in all the ways that matter. Fascinating.
What other ways?
Fascinating. I'm not sure if that is true, but what I do know is based off this woman's background, she claims to own a ranch sitting on 46 acres in Montana. Now, I don't know about you guys, but that sounds amazing, right? That sounds very nice. Okay. It sounds like the American dream, right? Apparently she sold her business and that is what allowed them to retire. So I want you guys to understand, you have a Black woman who and her husband successfully sold their business and they're living on 46 acres in Montana, probably a very nice house, and they feel oppressed, right? They're still oppressed despite living the American dream. So oppressed that they decided to flee the country, even though they live out in Montana on 46 acres, probably out in the middle of nowhere, where realistically they're probably not going to be affected by too much of what is happening across the country.
What's going on in Montana? Is anybody in the chat from Montana? I think Adrian, AT is from Montana. Like, what's in Montana? I think she said Calgary. Oh, you know what? Maybe she did say Calvary. I think she says it again, so I'll definitely pay attention. I don't know. Oh, okay. Well, like, what's in Montana? I need to know. Tell me what's in Montana.
Right, far away from a liberal city, but they feel oppressed enough to flee to another country. These people are delusional, right? I just want you guys to understand these people are not in the right headspace.
Talked about that. Well, my mother got sick, very sick in December. I was away back in the States in Georgia with my mother. My mother passed away in January. It's been so hard. So my husband, because our son is playing soccer in Calgary, my husband stayed at our short-term rental in Calgary while I handled everything with my mother's estate. So this last Sunday, I prepared to drive through the border, as I always do, nice, kind, courteous to the border agents, gave him my passport, and he starts, asking different questions. I'm like, that's not the regular questions they normally.
Wait, so being nice and kind isn't enough? The irony here, when you hear her explain this interaction with the border agent, you're probably going to laugh. Is AT in Wisconsin? I thought he was in. No, is he? Okay, maybe I missed that. Okay. It's comical. Like, ma'am, they're protecting their borders. They're not just allowing anybody to come in and just stay as long as he or she wants to. What is the problem? It's funny that these people will go and celebrate border restrictions for other countries, but will denigrate it here in the United States. They will exalt like, oh, this country is so great because they have borders, and this country is so great because they have law and order. But then they come here and they want us to not be a country of laws. It's crazy work, or borders. Let's go.
asked. Then he tells me to pull over, and I'm like, okay, are you not letting me in? And he said, I didn't say that, with an attitude. And then he said an officer will come out and talk to you. So I'm like, at this point, I call my husband on the phone so that he can listen. So 2 officers come out. They're like, oh, get out. Don't touch nothing. They got my purse. They're looking through all my personal things in my purse, and which I don't mind them searching the car. They have a right to search the car. I already knew that. And they're going through all my
They have a right to search the car? Where do they derive the right to search your car from? It's funny, like, you don't have a right to search a car in the United States like that, but she's okay with them doing it in Canada because they're nicer and they have diversity. These people are sick.
Cards, all the stuff that's in my purse. And then I'm sitting on this cold bench for 45 minutes. They're searching my vehicle. Now, while this is happening, a white lady also gets pulled. They tell her they want to, they got to search her. Y'all, she was gone in 2 minutes. She was not asked to get out the car, anything. She was gone within 2 minutes. So I'm still wondering what has triggered such a deep search. What is going on? He keeps asking me, like he didn't believe me. You own a house in Montana? I said, yes, I do own a house in Montana. He's asked me that 3 times. So I'm getting a little like, okay, this sounds like racism. Why can't I own a home in Montana?
Racism done entered the chat, y'all. I thought she was going to Canada. I thought Canadians, they were winning in every area that matters. Remember that? We need to add that to it. But diversity, though. They're diverse in their racism. Their partiality has multi-layers to their partiality. Brenda. Oh, this is rich.
Here is the proof that I own a house in Montana. Here, what else do you need? I've also shown you the lease that we are planning to leave. I have been posting about that. I have been saying my goodbyes to Canadians. I have been thanking them for their kindness. Everything I posted online said that we were leaving because our tourist visa was up. In fact,
I think it's interesting that she's referring to her social media as evidence of, like, as if they're going to go look at that at the border and say, oh, you're right. She said that she's going to be leaving. Like, what are you talking about, Brenda?
I was getting so many emails from Canadians trying to find a way for us to stay. And I said, well, no, our lease is up. We are leaving. I mean, our visa is up and our lease is up. We're moving on because we believe in following the laws no matter where we are.
The irony here is insanity. There's no way possible that I can. You believe in following the laws. What about people in the United States? Do they have the requirement to follow the laws too? Anybody ever? You know that you're not a citizen of Canada. You follow the laws of Canada. I know I'm not a citizen of America. I follow the laws of America and get out. Like, this is crazy work, y'all.
So he finally brings me inside of the station and he's like, oh, did you apply for permanent residency? I'm like, yeah, last year, but that didn't work out. It wasn't approved. He's like, yeah, well, we want to make sure that you're not trying to you're trying to stay in the country illegally. I said, just because I apply for PR doesn't mean that I am planning on just staying in the country.
Yeah, but they don't know that, right? They don't know that. And that's the hilarious part about it. So she decided to flee to Canada to escape racism, hate, and bigotry in the United States of America, right? Only to flee to Canada and have to come back to the United States because apparently the healthcare system is not so great in Canada that she had her mother in Canada with her, right, in order to get medical treatment, right? Notice how when somebody needs actual, emergency medical treatment, like real medical treatment, they don't go to these countries with these supposedly amazing healthcare systems, right? They stay in the United States of America. Regardless, she was going back and forth. She tried to go back into Canada, and the one time she tried to go back into Canada as her 6 months is expiring, right? She only can be there for a short amount of time. She gets stopped and she gets questioned, and they tell her get out of the car. She gets searched because they know that she's somebody who is fleeing the United States of America and looking for a permanent place to stay. They know this because of the fact that she applied for permanent residency in Canada and was denied, but is still going back to the country despite her visa almost being at the point of expiration. So what you have here is not racism, hate, and bigotry. It's not racial profiling. Oh, they let the white woman through, but not me. It's like, well, yeah, because the white woman probably does not have a large social media following of her claiming that they're looking for a permanent place to stay outside of the United States of America. Okay. And they're staying in Canada right now. So yeah, I mean, that to me would justify these officers doing their jobs and making sure that you're not trying to stay in the country illegally. Which, by the way, we were told having a president in the United States of America that wants to enforce the same laws that are enforced in other countries. Apparently, that's hate and bigotry, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Apparently, it is hate and bigotry to pull over a black woman and to question her on why is it that she continues to come into the country despite the fact that her permanent residency application was denied and her visa is expiring and she's looking for a place to live permanently. Yeah, I think they have good reason to believe that you may be trying to overstay your visa, right? So, she thinks this is hate and bigotry, right? But it should tell you everything you need to know about the so-called hate and bigotry that these people claim that they're experiencing in the United States of America, right? What they're actually really upset about are what we call microaggressions, right? They don't understand why is it that they put themselves in a certain situation and they get treated a certain way and they automatically just say, well, it's because of race. Well, see, they let that white woman through because she's white.
There you go.
It's like, well, no, the white woman is not posting on TikTok, right, that she's looking for a permanent place to stay, right? I'm just saying. So, I just find this story to be hilarious. This woman is pretending as if, she's being done wrong. And it's like, no, you're not being done wrong. They're just doing their jobs, right? They're enforcing the immigration law. You know what we're doing here in the United States of America, what Trump is doing, that, you people find to be so wrong and so racist. Yeah, they do that in other countries too.
I said, I have a whole house in Montana and we are retired. We're debt free. Do you want to see bank statements? Babe, I can show you some stuff. Like I had already had shown him my son's soccer schedule. I had already shown him the lease was up at the end of this month, March. He had already seen that. I showed him a picture of my house with my car because he didn't believe that I owned the house in Montana. Showed him the picture that I took of my car in front of my house on Friday because I had just got my wheels done. I got them powder coated. And so I showed him the picture that I texted my husband of the house, the car, all that match. And
why don't you get your car powder coated in Calgary? I just think this is so funny, man. And this is what I mean by you create your own problems. And I was talking to Lady Dearwell Christian about this. A lot of people, I hate to say it, but being a victim of something is very, very lucrative in people's minds. Y'all know my niece. Shout out to my niece. She comes over periodically, and I mention her quite often. My favorite niece. The other day, she went on vacation, and you know what she did? She got her phone wet, and you don't do that. I didn't realize that your iPhone has the waterproof setting has an expiration date. She had her phone for 2 years, and apparently the water resistance only lasts a year. Got the phone wet, and it wouldn't work. And she, because of her job, all of her work is through her phone. Her contacts, her apps, all that kind of stuff like that is all on her phone. And and her banking, she was in trouble. She was in cash money trouble. And Xfinity, and she was a victim. She was making herself a victim. Woe is me, the sky's falling. Oh, it's terrible. Woe is me. So Xfinity, this crazy company, they would not take her electronic SIM card and transfer it to another phone until she got home internet with Xfinity. And then she had to buy a new phone from them, and then they would try. It was crazy. We were so frustrated last week. It was crazy. But right outside the Xfinity play, and so my point was, well, she was a victim. Woe is me, the sky's falling. What am I going to do, Uncle? What am I going to do? And I was like, look, we'll just go to a pawn shop and buy you a cheap phone, see if they'll transfer it over, get the internet and cut it off afterwards. We're trying to do all this kind of stuff, right? Walk out. I'm just like frustrated too, because I'm like, man, this is give me gray hair. There's one of these places, you break it, I fix it, where they fix your screen on your phone and stuff like that. We went in and talked to the guy. I said, let's go check this out. We went in there and talked to the guy, and the guy's like, I don't know if we can fix that. I don't know if we can do it. We'll try, though. We'll try. It's about 10 o'clock. So I said, man, just do your best, man. If you could just get access to the eSIM so we can transfer the data out of there. Because again, she doesn't have access to her banking information and all that kind of stuff like that. That dude, shout out to You Break It, I Fix It. They not only got the eSIM, they actually restored the entire phone. It was just a little bit of corrosion. They cleaned it out. They did all that stuff, dried it out. Excellent. But my point was, she came into the situation as a victim. Like, oh, the sky's falling. Oh, the world's coming to an end. Oh, whoa. And we cooled down. We looked for solutions, and we moved accordingly. And by God's grace, her phone works perfectly. I still think she's going to upgrade, but and get rid of Xfinity. My point is, this woman right here, she's looking for problems. She's creating problems for herself. You are not going to convince me in this on this here internet that Canadians are more nicer than Americans. You're just not going to convince me of that. I don't care. I don't care what you say. You have the book, chapter, and verse and context that for me. But that's what you get, Brenda. Let's go.
I said, we have no intention on breaking any laws. And he's like, oh, well, someone here follows you on TikTok. I said, yeah, I know there's an agent that follows me on TikTok. That agent, my husband had that agent one time when he came through, and that agent told my husband to keep up the good, to tell me to keep up the good work. She told my husband, she said, oh, I follow your wife on TikTok. Tell her to keep posting, keep putting them good posts out there. Now, this agent, whoever that is, knows that I've spoken nothing but positivity about Canada. So they use that. They try to use that against me. I'm like, so I brought him back to that. I said, what does that have to do with now? I said, I've spoken nothing but positive about Canada. He's like, oh, well, we appreciate that. But, we know there's a lot going on in the USA. I said, I understand that. I said, but I follow rules and I have no intent.
We appreciate that, but you got to go, Brenda. Brenda, you got to go. You got to go, Brenda.
Well, I mean, their logic makes sense because, again, you guys, you liberals, believe that we should not have immigration enforcement here in the United States, right?
Yeah.
That this is stolen land.
Right.
Okay.
Nobody's legal on stolen
anybody
land.
should just be able to come in the United States of America and stay. So who knows? Maybe you apply that same logic, right? To going to Canada, right? To fleeing to another country. I think the more I listen to the story, the more I'm like, yeah, I think these agents had good reason to believe that a liberal woman would try to overstay her visa, right? In their country. Because again, they believe that that is what legal should be allowed to do in the United States, right? So yeah,
that's a great question.
He's basically saying that there's a lot going on in the United States. We know that you're fleeing the United States. We know that you're looking for a second home. And this is why we are questioning you, because we think there's a good chance that you maybe try to overstay your visa. There's no racism here, right? There's no foul play, right? You chose to put this out on TikTok. And guess what? Other countries have laws that they're going to enforce, right? They're not just going to let illegals, right, into their country. They're just not going to, even if you are American.
Running amok
on trying to stay here. We have options. You know what I'm saying? We sold our company last year. We are debt free. We are retired. We have been homeschooling for 18 years. Listen, we got plans to go to Portugal, China, Ghana, Kenya. We got a lot of travel.
Well, get them plans in motion, Brenda, because you're not going to be doing them in the great frozen tundra. Go ahead and get them plans going. If that's your flex, then go ahead and flex on over there to China and Ghana and Portugal.
Plans.
Yeah, and you're going to get the same treatment in those other countries. They're not going to let you stay either, right? They're not going to let you stay either. Who knows? Maybe the African countries might. But
I don't know. That's a good
some of those other countries on the list, China, except they're not going to let you stay there. They're going to enforce their laws.
And so he just was really scrutinizing me and just really, now again, the white lady was gone. Me, for some reason, they were putting so much pressure on me. And finally, I just broke down and I said, you know what? I said, I'm going to try to get out sooner. I said, I got 22 days left in the country, but I'm going to try to go sooner. I said, it's obvious you don't want me here. I'm going to leave sooner. He's like, no, you ain't got to do that. I said, yeah, I am. And that's what I've been doing, y'all. So this is my goodbye. Thank you, Canada. Thank you, Canadians. You guys have been awesome. Continue to be who you are. So many of you guys are awesome. I know there's a lot of Maple MAGAs out there that, been giving me a lot of hate and all that stuff. But I just want to let you know, Trump don't care nothing about you. He wants your resources, baby. You look at how he's treating our people down here. Look at what our people are going through.
What are people doing?
Apparently you just went through the same thing in Canada, right?
Right.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. These people are so delusional. They're so out of touch with reality. It's unbelievable. Like I can't believe it. She's so delusional, but yet she was able to sell a company, apparently for enough money to buy 40 plus acres in Montana to retire early. You have all that opportunity in the United States. You built this life, a life that most people can dream of as a black woman, right? You built that life, but yet you're claiming that you're oppressed, that quote unquote, our people are being treated so badly. I just cannot imagine being this successful in the United States, in this country, and still pretending to be a victim, still feeling so victimized that you decide you want to move to another country. It's crazy. It really is. I really don't understand. I don't get it. These people, their minds, their brains should be studied.
You know what I'm saying? Look at all the people and how they've treated Canadians at the border in the USA and how they've treated other folks. You know what I'm saying? And how.
But they treated you the exact same way, Brenda. Brenda, they treated you the same way. What are you talking about?
Yeah, you just got the same treatment, right?
Oh, well, there you go.
Look how the Canadians treated you trying to go across the border. It was like you might be coming in illegally. They treated you the same way. So what's the problem? What's the issue? Again, they have a problem with how it's done in the United States, and then they're shocked that other countries are doing the same thing, right? But we're uniquely evil, according to these people, uniquely bad. Amazing.
Our prices are skyrocketing down, their gas and everything else, you know, and how they promised there was not going to be, he was going to be the president of peace, but now, you know, could be taking us into a World War III. So if you think he...
How many World War IIIs have you lived through? I really think I've lived through 7. I don't remember all of them, but how many World War IIIs have you lived through? I mean, this is like World War III, episode 7. At what point do you stop this narrative? Like, you sound dumb. She sounds insane. And gas prices. I'm sure gas prices in Canada are very cheap. They're very cheap in Canada, right? No, they're not.
Loves you, I would say, bless your heart, as we would say in the South. Yeah, you should really get looked at. You know, he doesn't even care for his own people down there. You know, unless you are a billionaire. If you are a billionaire, then maybe so. You'll get something out of him. But I would tell you to wake up. Ordinary people, nah. So I have no idea who these border agents were. Maybe they're Maple MAGAs. I don't know. It's down there in BC.
Now they're Maple MAGAs. I love Maple MAGA, by the way. That is hilarious. I love that. Shout out to Maple MAGA. Yeah, we had another World War III. We're on World War III Part 7, I guess. I don't know. Like, every week is another World War III. What about billionaires? What about thousandaires? What about lowly podcasters in their house talking loud outside their kitchen? Like, what? This lady is, bless her heart.
Here with Alberta and BC, I have no idea. I just know that it could have been handled differently. They kept me. I was out in the cold, and they somehow did not believe that I could own a home in Montana and that I was unhoused and that I was trying to stay in Canada illegally when I was within my time frame.
Well, I don't know. Looking like that, right? Looking like that, you know, I would ask questions too, right? I'm just saying. They don't
want no bonnet behavior.
You look like you try to escape, right? You're trying to go and live in somebody else's country illegally. That's what you look like.
I was within the 6 months that Americans are allowed to be in Canada. I have boosted the economy in Canada. I've spent a lot of money here. And not only that, thousands of people have said that they were visiting Canada just because of all of my positive content. So I have been a help to the economy.
She's a tourist attraction.
And I am just shocked that
she works for the tourist board. She is thousands of people are coming to Canada because of her TikToks. Y'all.
I was treated this way, but I don't need any sympathy or anything like that. I know people down in the States have been treated way worse at the border.
Right.
But I just wanted to say this, be careful if you're going to apply for permanent residency. That is going to, if you don't get in, that will be a target and a mark on you at the border. They have a way of seeing that, and they will hold it against you. So goodbye, Canada. It was nice. I will not ever come back, but I love you guys. Thank you so much. And I'm praying God's best for you.
Hilarious. All that, right? All those contributions she made to Canada, and they still say you can't stay, right?
You gotta
go. Hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. I love these reality checks. She found out that no, you don't have a right to just stay in somebody else's country for as long as you want. If you show that you have intentions of trying to stay here permanently and you seem like you're trying to overstay your visa, hey, they're going to enforce their law. Okay, that you are going to be questioned. It is what it is. And just because you come over here, you spend money and you're economic boost, that doesn't mean they're going to let you stay permanently, right?
No.
All that virtue signaling against Trump, and they still didn't let you stay. They still said, nah, you got to go back, right? You can't make this up. You really can't. But hey, some people just got to learn the hard way. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.
Shout out to Greg. All right, so that link to that is down in the description as well. Isn't it funny? Okay, now, if you take that woman and make her another nationality that's being deported and put her back in the United States saying the exact same thing. I've been an economic boost. People want to come to the country because of what I'm saying. I've retired here. I sold my house, all that kind of stuff. I mean, I retired in Canada. I sold my business. I own a house and land in Canada. She would still get exported. She would still get deported from here. The exact same thing. Like, ma'am, do you not hear yourself? I don't think that they've taken the time. Yeah, like I see somebody said it's $7 a gallon in Canada. Right? That's not cheap either. Like, what are we talking about, Brenda? Now, again, I've said the case. I would love for Trump to do something to work on these gas prices for us here in America. I think it would be very beneficial. Yeah, that's expensive as all get out. But again, I don't think they think about what they're saying. I don't think they do. But yeah, the script writes itself. The script writes its own self. They treated those truckers terribly in Canada. Yeah, I don't think China's going to be much better, in my opinion. I don't think China's much better. I wanted to go to the Middle East. Like, go to Dubai and try this stuff. That's what I want you to do. I'll follow you if you go to Dubai. I want to see how that works out for you. And why are you not going to the continent of Africa? Why are you not going there? Why is that like you got all these other places? Just wondering. Black Queen. Anyway, good people, I appreciate it. Ooh, the government's pushing people to electric cars in China. Ooh, I'm so glad we stopped with that stuff. I'm so glad. Because I was really worried that they were really going to go crazy about that. Alberta what'd you say? Alberta just needs to separate and join the U.S.? Yo, Canada is so big, man. They probably wouldn't even know. Like, Alberta left? I didn't even know. Man, that place is humongous, man. China runs people over with tanks. Yeah, that is problematic. Yeah, go to Lebanon and try that stuff. Let me know how that works out. That's what I want to know. I want to know how it works out when you go to Lebanon. Shout out to the best live chat on the internet. Thank y'all so much, everybody, for tapping in. I really do appreciate y'all. Thank you so much. Okay, sorry. Okay. I appreciate y'all so much. It has been a busy morning already. Very last thing. I want to drop this for you all. Kevin Briggins, he's a good friend of the channel, brother in Christ, good friend of the channel. He dropped his most recent Substack this morning. Hopefully why am I not able to pull it up? And I thought it was really informative. There, can I share this though? Why isn't that allowing me to share it? I don't know. It's a conspiracy. Kevin don't want me to share it. There we go. All right. Y'all go check out Kevin's most recent Substack. Dropping it in the chat right now. I think you all will enjoy it. And I'll give you the title of it. It's Left-Wing Political Violence is a Feature, Not a Bug. That's so Kevin. That's so him. That's exactly how he talks. But anyway, thank y'all so much, everybody. I am going to go because President Firstborn has been calling me all morning because she is excited about me coming to pick her up on Friday. So I will be going to pick her up Friday and we'll be back. The whole band will be back together again. Her mom and sister are so excited. So anyway, y'all have a fantastic rest of the day. I will see you all. Oh, by the way, I don't think that we'll be doing a live stream this evening. But if we do, make sure you check it out. Anyway, y'all, thank you so much for tapping in this morning. I really do appreciate you. Please make sure you tip your waiters on the way out the door. Green hearts as you get your way out. Have a fantastic Monday, and I'll see you real soon. Grace and peace, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Jay Witt Podcast. If you enjoyed today's show, please do me a favor and hit me up with that 3-piece special. Like the video, subscribe, and of course, share it with somebody who would also enjoy this type of content. And make sure you leave a comment because I do pin the best comments to the top. So thank you so much for tuning in today. And until next time, everybody, grace and peace.